Hello and welcome to Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of Cross Touring Cup. We're here for round 2 of their inaugural season. My name is Adam Thompson. I am joined in the commentary booth by Alex. Alex, we ran this track. Well, we didn't run it. We watched them run it last week. What were your thoughts? How do you think they're going to do today?
Last week it was just a practice race, so obviously everybody was just out there trying to pull off some laps, just trying to see what their cars can do and see what they can do behind the wheel. I feel like today we're going to see these drivers starting to be a lot more aggressive than they were last week. Today's the day it counts. Today's where the points come into play. It's all going to be on the table. Everybody's going to have to try as hard as they can to make up as much spots as possible to try and win this championship. So I think we're definitely in for an interesting race today.
Yeah, speaking of the championship, why don't we go ahead and pull up these championship standings here. So coming into this race, here in our GT3 portion, we've got Josh Clogg in first place. Unfortunately, Josh isn't racing with us tonight, so that's going to leave the door open there for Bobby Ross in second with 27 points. Jake Ham back there in third, or as one of the watchers have already said, Jake Sham. So I apologize, Jake. I hope he's your friend. Paul Mikolajczyk there in fourth place. Kerry Quintera in fifth. Eric Whitner in seventh. Tyler Coates in sixth. Jaden Darling is in eighth. Darian Lozano is in ninth. And Jimmy Howitt is in 10th. And Alex, I'll go ahead and let you take us through the TCRs.
Now the TCR, some very fierce competition. Currently, Brennan Houran leading with 11 points. Robert Schwenkler in second with 10. Gerry Di Piero in third place with 9. Chad Seep in fourth with 8 points. James Keir in fifth with 7 points. Kevin Irwin with 6 points in sixth place. And then Ashley Molyneux and Andrew Kreinen and Eduardo Piccarini, who have yet to drive in a points-paying race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know these guys probably want to hop in here. Well, I know Eduardo Peccarini is in here tonight, and let me tell you what. We'll go ahead and ride on board here. Go ahead and try to flip to Eduardo if he's out on track, and it looks like he is. So, yeah, we know Eduardo's quick. We watched him last week, and, man, he was fast.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely one of the fastest drivers on track for the TCRs. Very talented, very skilled. He knows exactly what he's doing with these cars. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him stay up front this race. But I don't know, we might see a surprise from one of the people in the back. Maybe they practice a little extra hard. They've caught up to his time. We might see something special here, maybe.
You know what? I think a lot of these guys saw Eduardo for the first time last week and saw how quick he was, and I'm sure they didn't just let that go. I would assume they've probably gotten some practice in here over the last week. Going over up here to the GT3s, Alex, you've got a young man, not that young, he's only 1 year younger than I am, by the name of Bobby Ross.
Yeah, and definitely, I've raced with Bobby Ross before. He's a great guy, and when I was racing with him, I would always seem to be on his level of skill. I'd always be able to match his pace and race with him. But now, every time I load into a session with him, he's always 2 or 3 seconds faster than me. This man has been practicing a lot. He's definitely prepared for this race. He knows exactly what to do and where to be in order to win this race. I definitely keep an eye on him. He's definitely going to be a threat to win this race, no doubt.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And here at the top of your screen, guys, you can see the designation of the drivers and the cars tonight. While we're watching qualifying, as Bobby Ross throws well, man, that was only his first lap, and he's already about 0.4 of a second up. But so we've got the GT3s and the TCRs this evening. GT3s are designated in red. The TCRs are designated in, I don't know, I'd say aqua. Alex, you want to take us through the difference of those cars? I'll take us through the difference of those cars. So you've got the GT3s here, and they are basically, they're road cars, touring cars that have been souped up So all of these cars that you see here in this GT3 class are going to be what you would expect to see on the road, except they're not. They're totally stripped out, gutted, massive engines in them, brand new tuned suspension, aero package, all of the things that you would expect in a race car. And as you can see, Bobby Ross there is in the Mercedes GT3, and down here in the TCRs, we'll ride on board here with Eduardo Pecorini. Throw you here on the dashboard real quick so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here with the difference in kind of like just how that they handle around the track. So these are also road cars, but these are what I would call the economy cars, right? So what you would end up kind of thinking of, I mean, this is a Hyundai Elantra, for example, what we're looking at right now, and you see a lot more of those than you would see, let's say, a BMW, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Mercedes, a Porsche, something like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The difference in speed is absolutely massive here. So it's going to be interesting. Alex, are you back with us by any chance?
Yep.
Okay, so
Sorry.
yeah, let's if you were a driver, what would you want to drive if we're talking about the TCRs and the GT3s here?
Well, you know, it really all depends, because I mean, the main difference between these cars is obviously the GT3's rear-wheel drive monsters. They got a lot of power, they can get up to top speed quickly, but the thing with that is, you gotta be careful with them on corner exit, because they will come around on you if you are not careful. Then, if you look at the TCRs, front-wheel drives, also pretty powerful, not as fast as the GT3 cars around a circuit, but they are definitely pretty quick little cars. The thing about them, though, is if you go into a corner too hard, you're on the brakes, you're trying to get it slowed down, and it just won't go, there's no chance you make that corner. You can't get a front-wheel drive sideways to at least maybe have a chance of sliding through the corner. So it's very difficult. It's a fine line between them. It depends. You can either go with the GT3 approach, which is a hard, fast, you got to be careful with it, but a hard, fast race car that is definitely one of the quickest around a circuit, or you can go for a slightly calmer front-wheel drive compact car that, if you're not careful with, could come around on you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So it definitely all depends, I would say, on what track you're at and what driving style you have.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right there, Bobby. I apologize, Alex, but you are absolutely right there. I was running these TCRs around with these guys last night, and they are no easy car to drive. You get on the brakes, as we're watching James Keir kind of go here through the last corner, just what I'm talking about. Get on the brakes, and the front or the rear end just says, yeah, I don't think I'm going to hold the road anymore. But the good thing about the TCRs is they are front-wheel drive. You can get on the gas and correct a lot of those slides.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to say, is with the front-wheel drive cars, with a rear-wheel drive GT3, it's not going to be too easy to save that car, especially with the way the wheel is set up. It's not going to be easy to save that thing if it goes around. With a front-wheel drive, however, if you get sideways and you have time before a corner, all you got to do is just step on the gas, maybe hit a little bit of the brakes to try and get it slowed down a little, but you can just step on the gas and that car will correct itself in a heartbeat. No counter steering needed. It just saves itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we are riding on board here with Bobby Ross. Timings really haven't changed that much. Jaden Darling just goes in there and throws his first lap in there. Bobby's still at a 2-minute 0.9, which I think he can probably improve on here. Tire's probably getting warm now on his last lap, so we'll kind of see what he can do when he comes across the line. Looking like he's not going any faster. If you look there at the bottom of your screen, the green number 1 is who we're following, Bobby Ross, number 33. Not improving on his times as of yet. Kind of see what he does here through Sector 4. See if he can get something going here. I apologize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sector 6. So getting closer. He's going to come into the final corner here. Got to be super careful again once you get into this corner that you don't lose any of the grip, which you won't have an issue with, and it doesn't look like he's going to improve, Alex.
Yeah, and the thing about this is, I would like to take a look at the leaderboard for a second. You see how close Kerry Cantera is to the time that Bobby Ross put down. About 1.5 tenths off. If we were looking at how this went last week with the practice race, it was utter domination from Bobby Ross. He would always pull half a second to a second faster lap times. But now, with Kerry Cantera's lap time, it looks like he might have a little bit of a challenge from that Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think Bobby's as comfortable as he was last week in the practice
Definitely.
race. So this is going to be interesting to see how all this goes. Go ahead and ride on board here, Alex. I'll pull up the track map for the viewers, and why don't you kind of run us through?
Well, if we're looking through a lap here, I gotta see where we're at.
We're kind of halfway through it. I apologize, but yeah.
So we're halfway through the lap, coming down a full throttle straightaway, and you're gonna come down this straightaway, and you're gonna break into a hard 90-degree left-hand corner called the Tower. It's a very easy corner to learn, but it's hard to master. As you come through there, you can either go straight through it or go not fast enough. It's a very fine line. Then continuous full throttle corners into another 90-degree corner. And again, a very difficult corner to master. Essentially what it is with all 90-degree corners. They're easy to go through, but they are not easy to finish. And now through a little bit of more full throttle curves, then into a right-hander. You got to brake a little bit for this one, and you want to come out right on the curb so then you can turn down to the outside to get as much cornering force as you can into that second to last corner. Then it's down the long back straightaway into this final continuous corner that is pretty difficult to get through if you don't do it right. What you have to do, you got to brake early, hold the inside, come out wide, then try and hold it through the center on exit. You want to pick up as much speed as you can here to get a good run down that front stretch.
Yeah, this is a big time loss or gainer, depending on how you take that corner. And we'll see if Bobby gets off the gas or he tries to get through turn one again. You're gonna see. You want to stick as close to this wall. There is so much space there in turn one. You don't want to be all the way out there. You lose way too much time, and you don't get as good of a run out of there as you think you do from out there.
Yeah, and especially with that corner, it's very easy to overestimate how close you are to that wall. We were seeing it last week with some people. They were sticking right up to that wall, almost close enough to the point where they hit it, which is obviously very dangerous because we did see people hitting that inside wall last week during the practice race. So you just gotta think, is somebody gonna be so aggressive that they make that mistake again, or is everybody gonna be a little bit more cautious now that it's the Axor race and keep a little bit more distance from that inside wall to try and save their car for the end?
Well, I know quite a few of these guys, and so do you, Alex. We've run with them before in another league, I don't think caution is the first name or comes to mind first for many of these drivers. For some of them, they do. But a lot of these guys, which I would understand, trying to get out in front, right? Trying to get away from everything because you know that lap one, turn one is just going to be a mess, especially with the two different series that we have here, the two different types of cars between the GT3s and the TCRs. But we'll kind of see how everything goes. Turn one is pretty wide here. It should allow for, some margin of error, but we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, but the thing about turn one on this track is, again, we've mentioned the danger of coming too close to that inside wall, but another thing about turn one is it seems very wide on entry, but if you go down to exit, it bottlenecks into a tight road with grass on either side. So if you're going in there, you're stretching it, you're trying to push as hard as you can, you're going 3-4 wide in there, you have to go from 3-4 wide down to almost 2 wide as it bottlenecks into the straightaway as it head towards turn 2. So it's going to be very chaotic to see if some guys maybe hold their horses and wait to make that move at a different part of the racetrack, or try and get all their passes right then and there, with the danger that it's going to bottleneck into a shorter track.
Sure. Yep, you're exactly right. And as you can see at the top left of the screen, qualifying is now ending. We should have the results here of qualifying. We'll try to get those through here real quick. Alex, I'll let you go first if they come up. Doesn't look like they're going to. We're going to go straight to the grid. So, you first, Alex. Be my guest.
Well, Bobby Ross starting on pole with an amazing 2 minute 9/10 lap time. Kerry Cantera only 1.5 tenths off, starts second. Paul Mikolajczyk in third. Darian Lozano in fourth in that 26. Jaden Darling in fifth. Eric Whitner starting sixth. Tyler Coates starting seventh. Jimmy Howitt in eighth, and Jake Ham in the 85 starting out ninth.
We got
Rounding out the GT3 field.
We've got in the TCRs, wouldn't you know, it's Eduardo Pecorini there starting in first place. And second, we've got Robert Schwenkler about 1.7 seconds off. Third, we've got Brennan Houran. Fourth is Gerry Di Piero. Fifth, Chad Seep. Sixth is going to be Kevin Irwin. And rounding out the field is going to be James Keir in seventh. Okay, here we go. It's going to be a rolling start here. What do you think? How do you think this is going to go, Alex?
I would say we're definitely in for an interesting start. We've already mentioned the the dangers of turn one and the bottlenecking on the exit. So it's just going to be interesting to see who does what here. You're obviously going to see drivers in the field who are going to be very aggressive. You know, maybe they didn't do too good in qualifying. They're going to want to make up as much spots on they can on the start where the people in front of them are more vulnerable to moves. Or they might wait and try and save their car more for the end of the race so they can pick up speed then, and that way they don't get involved in any kerfuffles that might happen in the first few corners. But you just gotta see. You got some people in this league that are cautious. You got some people in here that are aggressive. So it's just gonna see how the different mindsets of the people who go into turn one and are like, okay, I need to make some moves here. I need to make up some ground. Or the people who are in the field and are like, okay, I can stay cautious here and get these people and get around these people more towards the end of the race. So it's going to be interesting to see which people do what and how it's going to affect the race.
Absolutely. We have a full qualifying lap here under the pace car, so got some time to talk about some things going on here. It catches my eye every time. Paul Mikolajczyk there in the 01 car with the beautiful bright red Elmo, and he's driving a Ferrari. It just fits, you know, red Elmo, red Ferrari.
And Paul Mikolajczyk, he's definitely a very fast driver. He was running well last week despite a couple of mistakes. And if he can just avoid those mistakes this race, he can come out clean here and maybe have a chance at winning this race or at least getting on the podium. But you gotta watch out for everybody else around him. You know, Darian Lozano. We didn't talk about him much last week, but he's obviously also a very fast driver in that BMW. He knows exactly what he's doing here. He just needs to make up some ground and get around these cars in front of him. And the same story with Kerry Cantera. He also very fast, only 1.5 tenths off Bobby Ross in qualifying. He's going to be a threat to win this race. Bobby's going to have to watch his back if he wants to come out on top.
Kerry, you with the profile picture, man. It's it gets me every time. But anyways, back here, I want to talk about Robert Schwenkler here for a bit. Starts second behind Eduardo. Man, I hope he's got something for him. But Eduardo, pretty quick here. I want to give a shout out to Big H, by the way, in our live chat, shouting out Bobby and Eduardo for P1 in their respective classes. And then we've also got Team Risa Racing down there in Florida. It's going to be Bobby Ross, Gerry Di Piero, and Eduardo. So this is kind of a close group of guys, but I think when you start to race, is there any friendship anymore at that point, or does friendship kind of go out the window until the end?
Well, it really all kind of depends, because we've seen races where teammates have blocked for each other so they can come out on top as the winning team. We've seen it in real life, we've seen it on iRacing, we've seen it everywhere, especially on the oval side of things and at restrictor plate tracks where you have to work together with your teammates to get up to the front. But on road racing, it's a little bit more complicated. If you're trying to work with your teammates to get one of you the win, it's a lot more dependent on strategy. If you're in front of somebody that's faster than your teammate and you're trying to get your teammate the win, you have to try and pit at the same lap as them and then try and just hold them up and stall them out as much as you can. Not race them too hard to that you wreck them, but race them just hard enough so it's difficult to pass. And it's obviously going to be very interesting to see if maybe Gerry Di Piero tries to keep that field behind him so that way Eduardo might be able to win this race.
So we're covering two classes of cars, very different cars, very different speeds, guys. So we're going to try to keep you up on all the action, but here we go. It's going to be on Bobby when he decides to go green, and it looks like he's going now. Already 3 wide, going down the front stretch here into turn 1. This could get extremely sketchy. Gerry Quintera gets right down to the bottom.
And he missed the turn 1. He goes wide. I'm not sure what happened to him back there, and that's a Ferrari turned. I believe that is Eric Whitner. It is. And it looks like the TCRs might have made it through there clean. But Eric Whitner in that number 10 Ferrari spun out in turn 1. I wonder if that was a result of Gerry Quintera going in there hard. And it looks like Gerry Quintera just came up the track on entry and just parked it in front of that number 10 Ferrari.
Oh,
Whitner
no!
Rob hits him. Oh, and a car upside down. I'm not sure who that is, but they went over the guardrail, and that's Kevin Irwin in the number 7 Honda.
Oh.
Robert Schwenkler and Gerry Di Piero with damage as well. So this race has already gotten. We have a few cars out. Jimmy Howard also into the pits. I'm not sure if anything happened to him, but my, what a chaotic start.
Yeah, that's not really what you want to see there. We've got, let's see if we can kind of go see what happened to Jimmy. Try to find him. We got it off track here from Jimmy. See if this might be where it is. Jimmy just gets off track, coming out of one, loosey-goosey all over the place. And
he
tags the wall.
Almost saves it, but goes straight into that guardrail. He does a great job not pulling back onto the track in front of the TCRs, but obviously it seemed like enough damage to where he had to tow to get it fixed.
Yeah, that's not good there for Jimmy or any of the guys involved. You know, if I'm Eric Whitner right now, that's never how you want to start a race. Getting a little loose. He can still driving around there with damage, all kinds of damage. I would assume he's probably going to be coming in on this lap. Just can't really drive the car. You've got the TCR of Rob Schwenkler and the Hyundai Elantra in front of him that also got collected in that. Did Gerry make it through is the question. Looks like he might have.
I believe he got a little bit of damage from hitting the rear end of Robert Schwenkler when Robert had nowhere to go, trying to avoid that. But honestly, if I'm Robert Schwenkler right now, I'm pulling into the pits with a damaged car, and I am absolutely livid. You start outside pole for your class, you're going into turn 1, you're thinking that you might have a shot at passing Pecorini, and bam, Ferrari parked right in the middle of the track, nowhere to go, just really unfortunate for him. And it just sucks that a race has to start that way for such a fast driver in this series.
Absolutely, it does. But nonetheless, we're moving on here. Got a crash here from Kevin Irwin as well. Looks like it was from the start. It was. Gerry's getting loose on board. That's where it was. That's Kevin flipping over from the contact with Eric Whitner.
Yeah, and it looked like he just ramped off Whitner's front end, which sent that car straight into a tumble and over the wall, which made it have to reset. But look out, we might have a battle for the overall lead here in the GT3 cast. Paul Mikulicek, he's doing a great job keeping up with Bobby Ross. We just have to think if it'll last long enough for maybe Mikulicek to make a move here. But he's obviously very fast in that Ferrari.
Yes, he is. Again, I don't believe Bobby thought he was really going to have much of a competition, and Paul gets a great exit coming into the final corner. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. I believe that's turn 12.
I believe so, and he pulls into 1.5 tenths. He's going to look for a move down the inside. Can't quite get there.
So the slipstream. Go ahead.
He's staying within 2 tenths here. He's going to get a nice slipstream down this front stretch. He might have a run down here into turn 1. We're going to have to see. Bobby might have to try and defend his position here.
Yeah, I think he might. We're going to see if Bobby goes high-low. Paul's going all over the place. Bobby, can he get through the corner? He does. That is a perfect line through there. Does not give Paul any room down there to the inside. And the battle continues. It's going to get tough to pass through here, though, Alex. It's just the corners aren't sharp enough. You know, you can't get really heavy braking zones like you can going into the final corner and turn 1. But if Paul can stay close, that is a massive slipstream down that backstretch.
Absolutely it is. And right now, that just has to be all that's on Paul's mind. Just hitting all of his marks and making sure he's within range down those back and front straightaways in order to make a move here. He's currently keeping himself within 2/10. He's doing a great job keeping up, oh, excuse me, 7/10. But he's doing a great job keeping up with what we thought was the fastest driver here today, Bobby Ross. But he's obviously going to have some competition this race.
He is, and I want to get down here to Gerry Di Piero again. Completed the pass on Chad Seep. And he's hunting down Brennan Houran, which that's a pretty tall feat. Brennan, I know you don't know Brennan, Alex, but Brennan is extremely quick when it comes to these small, I don't want to call them underpowered cars because they're race cars, but things like Miatas and TCRs. Brennan, this is his wheelhouse, and Gerry is he's tracking him down.
Yeah, and obviously you just saw Brennan Houran. He hit the grass a little bit there, which obviously is not going to help his momentum through here. And Gerry Di Piero, he's just got to think of the exact same thing we were talking about with Paul. Maybe trying to save that gap till he gets to a straightaway, or he might try and make a dive bomb move into this next corner here. It doesn't look like he's going to be close enough, but obviously he's very close to that 45 Honda in front of him, and he has a chance to make a move here if he can stay with him. And now we see Kerry Cantera in a battle with Jake Ham. Jake, he's 1/10 back, and Kerry Cantera Jake Ham goes to the inside. He's going to try for a move in turn one. Kerry just trying to get as much momentum off the corner as he can. He's going to keep
TCR in the way!
And Jake Ham goes around and into the guardrail, and it looked like what happened there is Kerry Cantera, he was trying to take the corner exit line, and there was a car there. He just couldn't do it. Just came straight down. Jake Ham straight into the inside wall. That's going to destroy that Lamborghini.
That is extremely unfortunate for Jake, and don't want to get into the weeds too much here, but I know there is some bad blood between Jake and Kerry after the practice race last week, so hopefully this doesn't boil over. Man, the back end of that Ferrari is, well, there isn't one anymore. But unfortunate for Jake. They do have 2 quick repairs tonight. This is a 45-minute race, so anything is possible here. Kind of see what happens, how everything goes, but Kerry Cantera has, well, averted disaster for now, I'd say, but I think that one may come back to haunt him a little bit.
And we just have to think here. Obviously, we have some drivers in here that are very prone to getting revenge on somebody who's wronged them. We just have to see if maybe Jake Ham, he might pull into the pits here and pull back out on track and just start to mess with Kerry Cantera, whether it's tapping him, blocking him, or just all in all, just racing him super hard. Brennan Houran into the grass. He's going to spin, entering the hairpin, completely sideways, takes out all the cones. That's going to move Gerry Di Piero up into second. And Brennan Houran, he's going to get back onto the racetrack, but obviously not a good sign from that number 45.
Yeah, it's kind of... He just...
looked like he just turned into the grass and just took out the cones and just spun under braking.
So I guess that's one way to get around corners. I don't think it's the fastest way, but...
It's definitely one way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Gerry Di Piero has advanced himself up into second place. We'll go ahead and take a look here at where all the gains and the losses and where everybody's kind of been so far and how they've done. It's probably going to be pretty crazy here. We know there were some incidents. Robert Schwenkler down about 4 positions. We all saw that one from the start. Unfortunate incident there with Eric Whitner, but Robert is pretty quick. I wouldn't count him out yet. Got Gerry Di Piero up there 2 positions, which is good. Must not have caught too much damage off of that tap with Rob at the beginning. Bobby Ross, obviously, started first. Still in first. Paul Mikolajczyk has gained a position. Tyler Coates has gained 3. I haven't really covered Tyler that much, but Tyler's doing pretty good.
Yeah, and he is a very fast driver, but he's the type of driver that you won't realize how quick he is until he's on your back bumper. He's the type of guy where you'll be in a race, you'll be starting on pole, and you won't even notice he's in your session. He'll just be there, and you're racing. You're up in the lead. You're coming to 5 to go, and you're leading. All of a sudden, you look in your rearview mirror. He's right there, just prowling, waiting to take that win away from you. He's obviously very fast and probably one of the more silent and sneaky drivers that I've seen on this service.
He only needs one more to get a podium here, and the guy behind him there, Jaden Darling, haven't really talked about him either. Pretty good buddies here, racing for 4th and 5th place, but racing clean, racing hard. They both seem to have about the same pace here. Jaden's going to get a bit of a slipstream down, but uh-oh, why don't we go back up front here real quick?
And Paul Mikulajczyk with a huge run. It looks like he might get it within 1/10. He will. He goes to the inside. He's going to make a move down here into turn 1. Bobby Ross, not the preferred line through here, but he's going to make it work, and he's going to stick it through there and clear Paul Mikulajczyk back for the lead. But obviously, this battle is heating up. Paul Mikulajczyk, he's doing a great job keeping up with that Mercedes.
Absolutely, and that was an opportunity there. That is just great defense by Bobby. No contact made, just muscled that car around the outside of turn 1, was able to get enough of a run to catch him or to stay in front of him through the S's. Paul had to back out of that. No way you're going too wide through those S's after 1, but he's still there. We're going to stay on this battle for a bit because if Paul can hold on to it, it gets a little loose. If he can hold on to it coming up to the backstretch, they do have a lap car, Rob Schwenkler, that they're going to catch, but I don't know if they're going to catch him before the start-finish line, because this is where it could hurt Bobby, depending on where these two catch that lap car.
Yeah, but the thing is, with this battle up front, with the way it's played out, if you've looked at it, every time Paul has made an attempt to pass, he's always fallen maybe to 7, 8, 9 tenths back, and then within 2 laps, he's, bam, right back up there. So we just gotta think, maybe he's just sizing up his opponent and seizing an opportunity on a lap that Bobby makes a mistake, or Paul can just set a really good set of corners and catch right back up to the back bumper of that Mercedes. But he's obviously in a very good spot coming through the Le Mans corner, and he's gonna get that slipstream down these back and front straightaways, which is obviously gonna help him stay with Bobby Ross here. But it's not. But it's going to be a lot of work to try and get around him.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you just saw what Bobby Ross did there going down the backstretch, call that breaking the draft if you're a NASCAR fan, or trying to cut the slipstream if you're a Formula One fan. Basically what he's doing is trying to keep Paul from hooking on to Bobby's back bumper, because that air behind Bobby is much dirtier. It's already turbulent from the rear wing of Bobby's Mercedes up there in first place, and that is where Paul can gain so much time. As Bobby's pushing all that thick, clean air in front, Paul can just get right behind him, get through that dirty air. It helps the resistance on the Ferrari, and he can get real close. But we've seen Paul's been able to get close. He hasn't been able to get it done quite yet.
And obviously, Paul, he's obviously been able to get very close with that slipstream. But the one thing about it, it's what you were talking about, Adam, the turbulent air. Bobby Ross is obviously clearing a clean hole straight through that air for Paul to gain some speed and some more power out of that engine. But you got to think about it. Through that corner, that air coming off that Mercedes is going to do the exact opposite. It's going to create turbulent air that the Ferrari has to drive through in order to maintain control. And if you've driven a Formula One car on iRacing, hell, even real life maybe, whether it's on iRacing, real life, a Formula One car, an Indy car, a NASCAR stock car, dirty air absolutely kills. It can kill runs, it can kill corners, it can kill entire races if not dealt with properly. It just completely messes up the handling of the chasing car, which can completely throw off a driver's line. So it's obviously it's a double-edged sword, because obviously you got the slipstream that you can catch up to the car in front of you on a straightaways, but then the turbulent air coming off them in the corners can really mess you up if you don't take it right.
You can kind of see that just kind of happened to Paul right there. Gets out of, oh man, I want to call that turn 10. I know I'm going to get corrected here, but gets out of turn 10 and just loses the front end, has to correct it, loses the rear end as he's trying to turn the front end in, and look at how much the front is pushing through there. I think that was just a blown corner by Paul. I don't know if that dirty air is really going to be affecting him as much as it is when he is much closer. But this is the closest battle we have on track right now. Kerry Cantera back there in third place. Controversial third place at this point, but sitting back there, 9 seconds behind Paul, and about 9 seconds, 16 seconds, 17 seconds ahead of Jaden Darling. So, not really much going on there in third. Kerry's just kind of riding around right now. Robert Schwenkler back there just trying to... He just got lapped by Kerry, but just trying to get something back here. This is a 45-minute race. We're in about minute 15 at this point. Still plenty of time, guys. I know it's starting to get a little bit... There is a battle up there at front for the GT3s, but everything back here is just kind of... Everyone's calming down a little bit. I think tempers are flaring. Everyone's just trying to chill out. No, they've got plenty of time. They still have pit stops. There are forced pit stops in this race. May even be 2 pit stops for the GT3s, depending on how well they can save fuel. I'm telling you right now, Bobby ain't saving any gas.
Yeah, he's obviously having to use every ounce of fuel and power out of that Mercedes to try and keep it in front of Paul Mikolajczyk. But the thing is, if you're Gerry Cantera riding back there in third, you can win this race still off of strategy. If you can play your cards right, Paul Mikolajczyk and Bobby Ross are pushing each other up there on tires, on fuel, and they're going to be burning a lot of that stuff off. If you're Gerry Cantera and you can save enough fuel by maybe getting in the tow of maybe a slower car in front of you, or just maybe lifting a little bit before a corner before you brake, he can save a lot of fuel. And if Bobby Ross and Paul Mikolajczyk are pushing up there, they might have to pit twice. But if Gerry Cantera can play his cards right and save fuel, he might only have to pit once and seal the win here.
Yeah, he's like you mentioned, he's about 10 seconds back right now, 11 now, but that's okay. One pit stop in these GT3s. They shouldn't be taking tires, but if they do, it's going to be a really long one. So they've got to make sure as Kerry's coming into the pits now. Looks like he's going to try to make it now.
And he might try to go for an undercut here. He's trying to get some fuel into the car to maybe get through this race. And he might be trying to make it to the end from here. I know it's a far-fetched idea, but if he can save enough fuel, it's not out of the question. It just depends on how well he can do that. And obviously, in the undercut, it's very risky in the world of motorsports. We'll just have to see if he can pull it off.
Absolutely. So we're watching right now as Kerry's going to come out of... We're going to see how long he's stopped. Trying to figure out here how long it's going to take for these GT3s to get in and out of their stalls. I don't think he took tires there. That was a pretty quick stop. Hopefully it pops up here on the overlay. Maybe.
Yeah. It did not look like they put that car up on the jack, so that was probably a normal fuel undercut. He's trying to get in there, get fuel in the car, and get out. But if you look at the battle for the lead, it's shaping up once again, just like we were saying. These two leaders, Paul Mikolajczyk, he can close that gap up if he wants, but he's just currently prowling back in line. He's just trying to get that run and stay in line, maybe force Bobby into a mistake, which is not going to be easy given how consistent that 33 is. But Paul Mikolajczyk, he just has to try everything here if he wants to get in front of that 33.
Looks like, well, we got a second here. Paul getting a little wide. Able to get a very good exit out of there. Losing a little bit of time, about 9/10 of a second back. Got a crash here. Like Darian Lozano found his way off the track. Where did he do it? Gets into the grass and loses it there on 10. Unfortunate for Darian. No more front end left in that BMW. Also, got a Kevin Irwin incident back here. Uh-oh. Turn 1. Bet you he gets loose.
I think he might have just understeered. Yeah, it looked like he just understeered and went out wide. But the thing about Darian's crash is you got to just think with that Le Mans corner right there. It seems like a simple corner. It's one of those corners that's easy to learn but hard to master. If you can go through there right, you can make up a lot of time. But the thing is, if you go in there too hard or with an unsteady car, you can go straight through the corner, you're good through the center, but you just come out too wide and clip that grass and spin back into the wall. That's exactly what happened as the two leaders pit. Bobby Ross comes out with the lead, and Paul Mikolajczyk still chasing him down, even on pit road.
Oh, man, is he going to go for the move?
And he does. They're going to be side by side into turn 2. Paul's going to have the preferred line.
They get dangerous here. Looks like Paul does. Bobby gets into the grass. Paul makes the move out of the pits. Very bold by Paul. Now it's Bobby's turn.
And that was obviously a fantastic move from that 01 Ferrari. He sized Bobby up perfectly, is what we were talking about. Bobby, if Paul can force Bobby into a mistake, it's going to be huge for Paul to get that lead and stay up there, and that's exactly what happened. It looked like Bobby might not have been expecting that, and Paul pulled straight up to his inside and just forced Bobby to outbrake himself going into turn 2 in an effort to keep the lead. Now, Bobby's in Paul's shoes. He has to chase down that number. He has to chase down that 01 Ferrari to try and get his lead back and win this race.
And I don't think Bobby's letting this one go easy. He's already clawed back about 0.4 of a second. He is coming, and he's coming in a hurry. This is when it's going to get interesting because I don't think Bobby's really had much competition to try to have to make a pass here. This is also on Paul. Got to keep it clean, got to keep it steady. This is a point right here coming through where it could get just a little bit hairy depending on how Paul does this. Got it. Oh, and he does go wide. That's going to be a slowdown for Paul. Bobby gets back past him. See if Paul still has a slowdown. Paul does have the slipstream, though, going here into the final 2 corners.
And it looks like Paul might have just served his slowdown right then and there, so that way he can have a good slipstream through these first couple of corners. But the thing is, it was very easy to make that surprising move on pit exit. Maybe Bobby wasn't expecting it, and it was pretty easy to get that run there. But now the thing is, Bobby's going to be expecting a move this time.
Oh, look at this. Look at this lap car, though, of James Keir. And this is not where Bobby wants to see a lap car. Going into turn 1, this is going to get interesting.
And now Paul can play his cards right. He can use that lap car as a pick to try and force Bobby into a bad line through the corner. But that might work. That's going to work against both of them as they have to take the inside line. They're going to hug it on the bottom and keep it from going wide. But they're going to catch up to another lap car here in just a moment. That's Chad Seep in that number 73 Honda. So we're going to have to see. They might catch him going into the hairpin, which is not a good spot to catch a lap car. But it looks like they're going to get through. No, they're going for the pass. Bobby goes to the bottom. Paul follows suit. We're going to have to see if they can both make it through the corner.
Paul got close. That time does look like Paul may have just a little bit of damage on the front end, unless that's just how that Ferrari is. Front splitter looks to be kind of bent up a little bit.
And it could have been from something that happened on pit road or just hitting the grass. You've seen these guys very aggressive on corner exit, hitting the curbs and the grass. He might have just hit a curb or the grass at a bad angle, and it might have damaged that front splitter. Or that might just be.
I think it looks okay. Yeah, I think he looks like he's going to be all right here. Losing a little bit of time, though, to Bobby. Bobby's starting to put the pedal to the metal. How much is our tires going to play a factor here towards the end of the race?
Well, obviously, it's what we were talking about with Kerry Cantera. You got to think, if he's back there and he can save his tires right, he can make up a lot of speed towards the end of this race. And you think about it, these two guys, they're racing each other as hard as they can, trying to get just one leg up over the other. Paul Mikulajczyk trying to make the pass. Bobby Ross trying to defend his position as they catch Brennan Houran in the 45 to put him a lap down. You just got to think, if these two burn off their tires racing each other, that's going to be huge towards the end of this race for the other drivers that maybe haven't been up front. And if they can play their cards right, they could end up on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And missed this message a while back, but Brennan Houran said the reason he was knocking all those cones over and Gerry got past him is he was texting and driving. And he was also chatting in the YouTube chat while driving. So, Brennan, come on, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's time we learn. I think it's time we learn from the state laws, whether it's virtual or in real life. We don't want to text and drive. But Paul Mikulajczyk looks like
that really did hurt Bobby. That lap car, Gerry Di Piero, really hurt Bobby, and Paul's gonna go for it down the inside. Bobby, let's go!
Here's him. Bobby can't make a move on exit. We're going to have to see if he gets the run through this tower corner, down through this straightaway. We've got a few S's. Then Bobby's going to pull to the inside, maybe try and outbrake Paul. And it looks like he's going to do it. Bobby might go wide. No, he's going to keep it on the bottom. And Bobby takes that lead right back as quickly as it was taken away.
Man, this is a battle between these two. Got another lap car here, Kevin Irwin, that they're about to catch and pass. Depending on where Bobby catches him, he may have the same issue. Kevin says, I am going to stay very well and clear of this battle going on up front.
And it obviously looks like it's not going to affect either of them. But Paul, now, he knows what these lap cars can do. So I know it's going to be very hard for him in second. He's nowhere near those lap cars out front. If he can manipulate Bobby into taking a bad line around a lap car, it could really affect Bobby's line. And we could have a situation like exactly what happened last time, with Bobby being forced to take a bad line down that straightaway. As Chad Seep, he's coming through a corner here.
It's a little bit off track. Doesn't seem to really hurt him that much. My overlay ratted on him just a little bit. Got Eric Whitner, also went off track back here. See what happened to him. Man, that car is smoked.
And it looks like the same situation with Darian, except he was able to keep it on the racetrack, where Darian, it looks like he might have just pulled it on the track a little bit too fast and spun it straight into the wall.
What
now,
happened to Paul?
He's now 2.5 seconds back. I think he might have gone off track or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but now, that just made his attempt at catching Bobby and passing him for the lead a lot more difficult, as now he has a 2.3 second gap to make up.
Yeah, it looks like, I think Paul may be the quicker of these two. His car seems to look okay. Doesn't look like he's got much damage on it here. He's catching Bobby up again. Maybe just, I don't know if he meant to back up that much, but maybe he's just giving a little bit of space, you know, calming down, getting everything back to steady. You're going to make another run here. Gap staying pretty similar. Paul Mikolajczyk, though, with the fastest lap.
Yeah, and Paul Mikolajczyk, he's obviously done a great job. You know, he definitely wasn't this fast during the practice race last week, I can say that much. And he's obviously doing a great job today. He's challenging Bobby Ross. He's giving Bobby Ross a run for his money right now. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he just backed off, like you said, to give him some space. Or he just threw it into a corner too hard, maybe threw it wide, or got into the grass a little bit. But obviously now we have a battle for fourth, Tyler Coates and Jaden Darling. And if Jaden Darling can set a good few corners here, he'll be in the spot for draft down that backstretch, and he might be able to make a move for fourth place.
Yeah, these guys have been battling the whole race here. Pretty clean, doesn't seem to be doing much. They're not trying to pass each other. Like I said, these guys are buddies and probably just having a good time driving around and keeping the cars clean. But don't look now, because I see a very bright Lamborghini back behind them.
Yeah, and Jake Ham, obviously unfortunate accident in the opening laps. He just got clipped by Kerry Cantera, I believe it was, went straight into that barrier. But now he's got himself back up to the 6th. He's not a lap down. He still has a shot at making up a few spots here, and it looks like he's definitely catching these two cars in front of him. If he can just hit his marks here, he'll have moved himself up into 4th place, and he'll have gotten himself a few more spots here at the end of the day.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and stay on board here, or stay on this battle, because Jake is coming in a hurry. About 1.3 seconds back, 1.1. And the battle up front up there with the lap car, James Keir trying to get into the pits, does not help Tyler Coates' case at all. And we have got a 3-car battle here shaping up for 4th place, Alex.
Yeah, and I would say Jake Ham, definitely the faster one out of these 3. He was going through maybe sector 2, maybe 3, I believe, last lap. He was maybe 2 seconds back. Now he's gotten it closed down to freaking 0.4 of a second on that car in front of him. And he's obviously going to have a very good shot at getting past these two if he can just hit his marks and make his moves at the right time. He might be able to make a move and on Jaden Darling here down this straightaway. He's going to see he's pulling in with 1.5 tenths. Jaden Darling blocks. He's going to have to go high here.
Jaden's not letting him go. Jaden's going to fight this one a little bit. Jake tries to go to the outside, just does not have the position that time.
A little bit of contact there between the left rear of Jaden Darling and the right front of Jake Ham, and I wouldn't be surprised if that made Jake a little bit upset. He's already had not the best race off that first incident, and obviously now with the car that he probably knows he's faster than blocking him, and it looks like Jaden lets him by that time, but obviously that might have put Jake in a bad mood there. But now he has to focus on other things like catching and passing Tyler Coates.
It is a very bright green Mercedes in front of Jake Ham, but that is also a very bright green, or very bright Lamborghini. Sounds like we have a spin. Maybe not. Gonna find out. Everything seems to be okay on track here. Oh, nope, there's some smoke.
Yeah, it looks like that's the 7, Kevin Irwin. I think it was at a Le Mans corner. I saw him slowing down on the
Whoa!
deck map.
Jayden Darling got a little bit loosey-goosey there, and here he comes. Is he going to go for the move here? Is Tyler going to defend down the inside? No, he's not. I think Tyler knows this is not his battle. Going to go ahead and let Jake go on his merry way, and guess who's next up on the road, Alex?
And it is Gerry Cantera. Already Bad Blood is actually Jake Ham pulls into the pits there, but just on that topic, already bad blood from an incident last week between Gerry Cantera and Jake Ham. I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Ham just lets it all out if he can get around Gerry Cantera, whether it be blocks, turning him, and just all around just messing with Gerry Cantera here. Gerry Cantera has already basically screwed Jake's shot at a win here. They say miracles do happen, but I don't know if it'll come for Jake. We're just going to have to see how this race plays out.
Looking here at the...
I wouldn't be surprised... I wouldn't be surprised if next time Kerry's around Jake, it might get a little dicey between those two.
Yeah, I don't... You're too far off there, Alex, but looking here at this pit length, Cantera gone 6 laps on his tires. Jake just comes in for 10 laps, not on his tires, on a tank of gas. So this is their second stop. This should be close. Jake went into the pits at about 30 minutes.
It should bring them to the end here.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty close. We'll have to see how all of that goes, but this is basically telling me that those guys up front are going to have to stop again. Here's the problem. Jake Ham is now back behind Jayden Darling and Tyler Coates again. But we're going to have to see when they pit. Coates on lap 9 on his stint length, about to go to 10. Jayden Darling on lap 5 of his, so he's probably going to go a little longer. We're just going to kind of see how these guys get together. It looks like Jayden's right back up on the bumper at Coates again. You guys just, man, the battle is raging.
And it looks like, speaking of Jake Ham, while this battle is going on, we saw how quickly Jake Ham caught up to these two and got around them, and then immediately pitted. He's probably going to make up even more ground, and I would say when these two pit, as Tyler Coates comes into the pits, I would say now when Jayden Darling pits, I think Jake Ham might pull out right in front of him.
I think Jake is going to get out in front of these two. Question's going to be, Alex, how much time he's going to be able to pull back in on Kerry. At the moment, Coates in the pits. Ham's going to get by Coates, and then he's going to get by Darling. When Darling comes in, Kerry's going to have to pit again. So it's going to get pretty interesting here. We'll see if Jake's really going to have to put the pedal down. Really going to have to put it down to be able to make a move here for the final podium position in the GT3 class. But you know what? Enough about the GT3s for a minute. Let's go talk about this guy who is 17 seconds ahead of second place.
Yeah, Eduardo Pecorini, one of the best TCR drivers in the field, if not the best. He is very fast in these cars. He knows exactly what he's doing, how to run these cars, how to run this track. It almost seems like a match made in heaven between these two. He knows exactly how to get it done here. He was going to get it done last week, but it looked like he just threw in a few practice laps and said, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to head out of here and call it a night. And obviously now it's the actual race. He's not letting up, obviously pulling a 17-second gap on Gerry Di Piero with the fastest lap, a second and a half faster than Gerry's. So Pecorini obviously doing a fantastic job in that Hyundai. And it's only a matter of time before he starts lapping these guys. I don't know if he'll get to Gerry Di Piero, but he's gonna start lapping these other TCR cars soon, I would assume. Although the next one is pretty far out.
So, sorry, we got to get back to the GT3 battle here. Look at this stint length. Paul Mikolajczyk came in on lap 7.
And Paul Mikolajczyk, he has come into the pits, probably, I assume, for a fuel-only stop, judging on how far away he is now. But Bobby, if you think about it, if Paul Mikolajczyk pit, Bobby must have to as well. You just got to think, when is Bobby going to come in, and how much time can Paul make up during that time? Paul just has to hit his marks right here, and if Bobby comes into the pits to try and take as much advantage of that as possible to maybe pull out of the pits in front of him, I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but I know damn well he's going to try.
He absolutely is. So why don't we go ahead and go through the field here real quick. I'll start it off. Bobby Ross, he was quick last week. Extremely quick last week. Didn't really have much of competition at all. So the fact that Paul has given him such a battle today, pretty impressive here. And it's going to come down to a pit strategy, I think. And, man, Bobby didn't cover the first race with me, but Bobby did definitely mess up his pit strat, and he's coming in right now. He's like, I am not taking this chance. Going to come in, try to cover Paul Mikolajczyk off, and that's going to put Gerry Cantera, who is now in second place, but about to be in first place. Unless Gerry decides to come in as well, which he does. Here we go. I guess we're... Oh, no!
Oh, no! Paul, through the Lamar corner. I think it might be the same situation with Darian. He comes through this corner. It looks like the car's a little unstable. He just goes out wide and clips the grass straight back into that wall. And that is going to just kill Paul's race unless something happens to these front runners. But very unfortunate to that 01 car. He's run good all race. He's got the fastest lap. And just unfortunate, he just goes through Lamar and just spins it right out.
That is extremely unfortunate for Paul, and this is going to give Gerry Cantera a shot, who has been involved in a little bit of drama here. But Paul is now dealing with damage, and you know Paul doesn't want to come into the pits again because not only is he going to lose a position, Gerry, he could very well lose a position to Jake Ham as well because Tyler, I apologize, Jaden Darling is still going to have to make one more stop. Yeah, speaking of,
he's in the pits right now.
So this is going to get interesting here. We got a Jake Ham coming around the final corner. He's going to take fourth away from Jaden as Jaden's into the pits. Tracking Gerry Cantera down. Gerry Cantera and Paul Mikolajczyk. What had just happened here? They were right on each other, and now they're not, but Gerry's about 1.6 seconds back. Now Jake Ham 39 seconds off of Gerry, which is okay. I think Jake's probably now knows that Paul has crashed, and there is an opportunity to take podium.
And Gerry Cantera, he's doing a great job here, but speaking of Jake Ham trying to get that podium, he's 39 seconds back. He's a long way out, but if something happens to either of these two, and it's detrimental damage,
oh no,
oh no,
we're about to see
the commentator's curse.
I think this may have been a bit of a commentator's curse. Jake just gets loose, getting
Looks like
through
he
the
locked
S's.
up the rears.
He did. Doesn't hit anything. Still moving on, but that may destroy his chances to get onto a podium. Try to get through the field here real quick. We're going to start with Jake Ham, who we just saw. They're in fourth place at the moment, but, you know, still doing what he can. And still a chance to take third place. Again, speaking of Jake, there is a bit of bad blood between him and Gerry Cantera after last week's practice race, and I don't think that was helped at all by today's implications, but that's neither here nor there for me to discuss. There are admins and stewards that will take care of that after the race. Tyler Coates back there in fifth position. Been back there the whole time. Probably been the most consistent guy I think we've seen today, in the GT3s at least. Jaden Darling back there in sixth. About to come and catch Gerry Di Piero, who we'll get to in just a second, in second place. Eric Whitner back there in seventh place. Kind of riding on his own, about 6 seconds back behind Jaden. And Darian Lozano is out, and Jimmy Howard is in the pits right there. He's been there the whole time. I think he just decided that he's done. So, here we go. Let's try to get through the field here for the TCRs.
Eduardo Pecorini, a great job again, especially after last week's practice race. You know, He left midway through, maybe deciding he had enough practice, and obviously he did. A 20-second gap between him and second. He's done a great job this entire race wheeling that Hyundai around, and now he just needs to last 5.5 more minutes as we move on to Gerry Di Piero. After a bit of contact with Robert Schwenkler at the start of this race, a great job. He's moved up 2 spots in second. As we look back at Brennan Houran in the 45 Honda, he's not too far off Gerry Di Piero. I'm not sure if he can catch up. But another great job from Brennan Houran, obviously a great driver in this field. And Chad Seep in the 73 Honda back there as well. He's done a good job this race, I believe. And as here comes Bobby Ross to put him a lap down. Then Robert Schwenkler in the 235, probably not happy after an opening lap incident. And then James Keir, I believe that is, in the 88 Honda. He's just riding around back here, not had the best race, not really been able to keep it up front. He's just riding around hoping to get some practice. And then Kevin Irwin in the number 7, again after an opening lap incident where he rolled that Honda over the guardrail, and it just has not been good for him this race. As either, oh, never mind, my overlay just messed up, but Paul Mikolajczyk and Kerry Cantera, the battle's heating up between them. Kerry Cantera, especially with Paul's damage, he might have a shot to move himself one step up on the podium.
Man, that car of Paul's is mangled. And the front, the rear wing's bent. You know Paul's just trying to wheel this thing around, going to do anything he can to try to hold on to that second position. But real quick here, there was a pass for a second. That was Kerry off the track.
So it looks like Kerry might have gotten around Paul at one point, then just threw it too hard into Lamar, and Paul got right back around him. And it looks like here it is, he just completely throws it in there, and then just maybe pushing a little bit too hard in this last sector. He comes through this corner, then down into Lamar, he goes wide, goes through the center, and just what we've seen all race, he just throws a little bit too wide and just puts it in the grass.
But that's okay. They still got time, and the battle's not over yet between these two. I'm telling you what, Kerry's been involved in some battles today, hasn't he? So this is going to be interesting to see how he's going to be able to get through. And he's got 3 minutes, about 3 minutes left. Try to get past Paul. Kerry gets a little bit wide there. Paul, man, he is just struggling. You know he has no straight line speed. Trying to stick behind Brennan the best he can. Get as much draft off of that Civic as possible. Paul gets through there. Now, is this going to compromise Kerry's line at all? And that, I apologize, that is not Brennan. That was Chad's seat. But no, he's not. They look to get through there okay. Now, Paul has nobody in front of him, which, honestly, that's normally what you want, but not with that much damage.
Yeah, and Paul, he's just throw this thing around here and just hoping it sticks to the corners as best as it will. He's just trying to hold on to that position, and now Kerry Cantera, he only has around 2.5 minutes to make a move, so he has to pick up the pace in these final few minutes if he wants to move himself up into second. But honestly, if he doesn't, I say a podium is pretty good at the end of the day. Is here we see Jaden Darlin, he's coming into the hairpin. Looks like he might have just locked up the rears. Oh no, he didn't brake enough and just goes wide, keeps it on track. Good job from him from keeping it from going into the grass, but a little bit of an incident there from him. He keeps it under control. Now Paul Mikolajczyk, just as we were speaking of the hairpin, he takes a bad line through there. Kerry Cantera is pulling right up to him.
Going to be the move here. If it's going to happen, he's going to happen here. Kerry is right on the back of Paul. Switches to the left side. Going to have to try to make the move around the outside. Paul is not going to let him have it yet. Kerry's going to get a pretty good drive out of here, though. Still nose to tail for now. Going into this hard right-hander. Kerry, woo! Huge closing speed on Paul. Paul's just trying to keep that thing on the inside of the track right now and not allowing Kerry to have it.
Yeah, and you can see how hard he blocked into the tower, I believe that was, through those S's. He blocked a lot towards that inside to try and keep Kerry Cantera from getting there. And now Paul just has to hold on coming into 1 minute and 15 seconds to go, which it looks like is going to be 2 to go at the line for Bobby Ross.
Yeah, so here we go. Paul's just doing everything he can to break that slip, but it's not helping him too much. Kerry is hunting him down. We're going to have to see. Kerry tries to make him to the outside, tries to get to the inside. Paul is going to hold on to that. Kerry goes way deep into there. which is going to be okay if Gerry can gather this up. No, he can't. He's going even wider.
Oh, I think he might have gotten into the tires. He did. He clipped the grass and got into the tires, and that is the white flag. Final lap of the race. Just too deep into that corner, just clips the grass. I think he might have scraped the tires a little. Probably won't affect that Lamborghini too much, but it's going to put him 2.5 seconds back, and Paul just needs to ride around during this final lap as Bobby Ross going into the hairpin. A fantastic drive all race, and just a few more sectors, a few more minutes, and he'll have won himself this race.
Absolutely, and I think after the very easy race he had the practice race he had last week, this one definitely didn't come so easy. So Bobby able to get things done. I can't say that yet. I'm going to commentators curse him, but seems to be doing okay through here. We'll stay on board here with Bobby. It doesn't look like that battle between Gerry and Paul is heating up. Question is it? Did you see the white flag? Because Bobby may get through here again. It's going to be close. Maybe not.
I believe I saw the white flag at the line when Paul crossed through there. So
yeah, this is final lap for Bobby. Couple more corners here. Got to get through this one clean. This is probably one of the harder corners on the track. If you catch that curve to the right, it will shoot your car out to the left. Pretty hard. He caught it a little bit, but just taking it easy through here right now. Down the backstretch. Looks like a Sunday stroll at this point, but it was anything but.
Yeah, Paul Mikolajczyk put up a fantastic fight. He did a great job, took the lead a couple of times, especially with a daring move to the inside out of pit road. But out of the last corner, Bobby Ross, he holds on, and he's going to come down this final straightaway and win the XTC at Sebring round 2. Obviously swerving, very happy in that 33 team. A great job by this driver. And Paul Mikolajczyk with a completely destroyed car after messing up in the Le Mans. He is going to come home second on the podium. Kerry Cantera in third. And it looks like Jake Ham back there is going to come home fourth as he comes to the last couple of corners. But Eduardo Pecorini, he's done a fantastic job as well in that number 47 Hyundai. He's not even going to go a lap down from the GT3 cars. He can just ride around this last lap by himself, just having a party. He just needs to come through these final corners nice and well under his own control.
Considering Gerry has already finished the race, there's nobody battling Eduardo. Eduardo has almost officially won the race at this point. Gerry coming home second. Brennan Houran right up there, coming home third. What you get for texting and driving, Brennan. But he was still able to take the third place, final podium position. Chad Seat back there in fourth. Robert Schwenkler crosses the line fifth. James Keir looks like he's about to come across the line very shortly. Come home sixth. Kevin Irwin came home seventh. That very unfortunate incident he was caught up in. Lap 1, turn 1, which I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but I got proved wrong there. So, here we go.
Eduardo Pecorini coming through Le Mans. He's just going to go down that back straightaway through that final corner and just cruise to a win here for him in the TCRs. A great job this entire race by him. Obviously one of the fastest guys in the field with this car. Bobby Ross coming over the other class winner. He's going to pull up behind him and just let him take that corner. These are your two winners today. Bobby Ross wins the GT3 class. Eduardo Pecorini off the last corner. He's going to win in the TCR class for the XTC at Sebring. A fantastic drive by these two. And what a race. Great battles. Incredible crashes. Great strategy. A fantastic race all around. And a great job to all these drivers for coming out.
And we're going to go ahead and take you through the points, or sorry, the results now. Bobby Ross comes home first place. Looked like it was a comfortable win. It was not. I promise you. That whole battle, the whole time between him and Paul Mikolajczyk, Paul did not let him go. Bobby was the more consistent one, though. Great job for Bobby Ross taking home first place. Paul Mikolajczyk comes home second with a very, very damaged Ferrari. Great job by Paul to hold on to that thing for the last few laps. Kerry Cantera was trying to hunt him down, had him for a second, just wasn't able to quite get him there at the end, as we got Brennan Houran doing front-wheel drive burnouts there across the start-finish line. Jake Ham comes home fourth. Very, very unfortunate for Jake. Between him and Kerry, they got into a bit of an incident. Eric Wintner, sixth place. I apologize, I keep skipping Tyler. Tyler Coates, not really that used to seeing Tyler Coates up there in fifth place, so congratulations to him. Eric Whitner in sixth. Jaden Darling comes home seventh. Darian Lozano 14 laps down. The only car actually technically out of this race. Jimmy Howitt just decided to stay in the pits the whole time. And he came home ninth. And then on to the TCRs.
Eduardo Pecorini, a fantastic job this race. He comes home with the win as we see Jake Ham chilling on the start-finish line in his number 85 Lambo. Gerry Di Piero, a fantastic job from him, avoiding damage from that opening lap incident. He finishes second. Brennan Houran, after an incident from texting and driving, he finishes third. Chad Seep brings it quietly into fourth. Robert Schwenkler, after a huge opening lap incident, finishes fifth. James Keir finishes sixth, and Kevin Irwin rounds out the TCRs in seventh.
All right, so we're going to hop in here into the Discord, see if we can pick up any of these guys, see if we can get a little bit of post-race. And this one's going to be interesting here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull in Bobby Ross here, and I'll let you have that one, Alex. Bobby. Congratulations, my man.
A fantastic job this race by you. You held it up front all race with a great battle with Paul Mikolajczyk. How's it feel to be up here after a great challenge this race and what I assume was a lot of fun out there?
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal. And first off, shout out to everyone from Ricer Racing that's watching tonight. And also congratulations to Eduardo. It's a double win for Ricer Racing tonight. But yeah, I'm so ecstatic right now. Finally, I get a win, either an XSLR or XTC. Woo, so close, but you know what? It finally worked out. And but first off, I want a huge shout out to Paul Nikolajczyk. He raced phenomenal. That first half of the race was amazing with him. And of course, also a huge shout out to my my brother and my mom for watching in the living room, and of course everyone else that watched tonight. Overall, I'm very ecstatic for the win tonight, and of course, a huge shout out to Slow Motion Broadcasting for covering these races.
And Bobby, I can hear the emotion with your voice. You're obviously very happy with this win, but with the challenge from Paul Mikolajczyk, how difficult was it to beat him, and how surprising were some of his moves, especially with the one on pit exit?
Pit exit, I'll be honest, for me, because I wasn't sure where the pit exit was, if it was at the very end, because I noticed because it was a solid white line, and I wasn't sure, are we allowed to merge in, or do we have to wait till the very end, right before the curb? So he got me on there. So other than that, I think we were going to be dead even throughout the rest of that race. I don't know who would have won had we stayed side by side.
And obviously, a great race between you two, a phenomenal battle up front, and congratulations to you for your first win this season, I believe. And I don't know.
Correct.
We've already asked you. I mean, normally at the end here we ask you who you want to shout out, but it looks like you gave them all away already. I wanted to give you a few shout outs. I wanted to give you a few shout outs that we had in the YouTube while we were going through the race, man. Big H was shouting you out the whole time, Bobby, and he was rooting for you and Eduardo and Gerry, and all three of you guys got on the podium tonight. So I'm pretty sure Mr. Big H is pretty happy at the moment. So
yeah, that's Henry Hernandez, and thank you, Henry, for supporting us throughout the race, man. That really means a lot. But yeah, I'm just so happy right now, so I can't really think what to say.
No problem, Bobby. Well, congratulations, man, on your first win in XTC, and hopefully there's many more to come.
Yes, sir. You guys have an amazing night.
All right,
Peace.
Thank you, too.
All right. That was first place, Bobby Ross there. I mean, can you really blame him? The emotion, pretty impressive what he was able to pull off tonight. So, we've got our second place finisher here, Paul Mikolajczyk. We're going to pull him in. Alex, over to you, my man.
And now, Paul, obviously, probably a frustrating end to this race, but you gave Bobby a fantastic challenge. What are your thoughts of that entire race?
It was good fun. You know, my aggressive line and before the backstretch got me to slow down, so I went further back, and then I bended on my outlap. So no one else to blame but myself.
And now, obviously, you gave Bobby a fantastic challenge, and with the races we have coming up, do you think you can continue that momentum and maybe beat him in the upcoming races and get your first win?
Ooh, I'm not sure. The next two tracks are not really my forte. I'm not very good at Suzuka or Mid-Ohio. Actually, I've never even done a lap in Mid-Ohio, so I can't even speak. But Road America, Daytona, and Spa, I feel like I have a chance.
And a fantastic job from you tonight. And what was it like pulling all those moves on Bobby Ross? We saw you obviously with a fantastic move on pit exit and obviously some great passes on him. What are your thoughts for those moves and how did you pull them off?
I was just being super aggressive like the whole race. The pit lane move, I just saw the opportunity because I just had a way better run going out of the pit lane.
All right. Well, congratulations on the PT, my man, and have a good one.
Thank you, Alex and Adam.
No problem, man. And if you can get Kerry Cantera back in here, he disappeared on us back there from the interview waiting room. So why don't you go grab him and we'll start bringing in the TCR guys.
Okay.
All right. See ya, Paul.
See ya.
All right. So that was 1 and 2 there for the GT3s. Let's go ahead and bring in Eduardo Pecorini here. Eduardo, welcome into the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your first place. Walk us through it. Didn't really look like you had much competition tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I had good laps and I did a really good quali. I was really nervous about the start. There was a crash in the GT3s, and luckily I had the clear line and I made a gap, and from there I was just pacing and trying to stay out of trouble with the lapping GT3s. So really happy now, man.
Well, you brought up the lapping GT3s, Eduardo. You didn't get lapped. So big congratulations to you on there. You're the only one to finish on the lead lap in the GT3 section. So what are your thoughts here on the following races coming up? Pretty comfortable with them?
Yeah, the TCRs are a good car for me. The Hyundai, it's a car that I have driven a lot. So I feel confident, but you have always to master the track and everything. So we have a stiff competition here, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna practice. So I have to keep it up.
Well, Eduardo, anyone you want to thank, anyone you shout out here before we let you go?
Yeah, first of all, the RISA community, they brought us to iRacing, and they keep up the work in there. So I really want to thank RISA for putting us where we are.
Absolutely, Eduardo. And I wanted to let you know you had a big H shouting you out the whole race. Watched you through the start to finish. There was some pretty big battles up front, so we didn't really cover as much as the TCRs as we wanted to. But anyways, you had some of the RISA community shouting you out throughout the whole race, my man. So congratulations on your first place, and hopefully we talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull Kerry Cantera here in while we have the chance. Third place finisher, Kerry, but not without some drama, my man. Walk me through it.
Where do you want to start? The beginning was not great. I didn't have any pace. Then when Jake and I came into a little kerfuffle there, and unfortunately my back end swung out, and that's all on me. I was trying to hold the line, and with Kevin in front of me, I was just trying to make everything safe. And unfortunately, I do not want anybody to lose a race or have a bad outing because of a silly mistake like that. So that's all on me. Nothing much more I can say. The video says it is what it is. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's racing, man. Things
overall,
happen.
It's fun, right?
Absolutely. So. No, that's what this is supposed to be, man. Things happen, and this is neither here nor there for me to really make any decisions on that. That's what the stewards are for. But man, I just wanted to kind of, other than that incident, and you battled your way back up there, got a little kind of. Fell back a little bit, and I mean, what did you know Paul had damage? You hunted him down in a hurry.
While I was trying, it was always 10 seconds. After the little incident with Jake, obviously that put me back quite a bit, and I was pushing. But it to be honest, it felt like the car, I couldn't get anything more out of what I can do with my inputs, right? So I was consistent throughout. If you look at my lap times, they're consistent all the way through. Even though I can qualify at a certain time, I should be able to do that same pace for the majority, or at least a good part of that race. Nope, wasn't even close. So I was just holding on.
well, I'm gonna tell you, you did a pretty great job of holding on. You found a tire wall there after coming out of the.
I was. The last little bit with Paul was a little bit of a shenanigans, and I was just trying to see what I can get out of him. He called my bluff. Obviously, as poker say, I got check raised on the river, right? So I'm just gonna leave it as that, and he took all my money. It's all good.
Absolutely, but that's all right, Gerry. You did a great job. Again, had a few incidents, but all in all, man, just the battle and keeping it consistent, keeping it up there, man. You deserve the third place. Anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
No, it's all good. I just like the fact that I'm able to run the league and have some good times.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on your third place. We hope to be talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
That was Kerry Cantera there in third place finisher of the GT3s. And yeah, I mean, he kind of said it all. There was a bit of an unfortunate event there that happened with him and Jake Ham. Lap car kind of got in the way there, but unfortunate. And you know that's not how anybody wants to see anybody. You know that's not how anybody wants to pass or win a race. But that's neither here nor there, like I said, for me to discuss. We're going to go ahead and pull in Gerry Di Piero, second place finisher. Gerry, congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
How was it, Eduardo? Man, the guy was too quick, but kind of walk me through the race. It really seemed like there was much before or after you, other than Brennan taking out some cones.
Yeah, just two things, Adam. Racecraft and spatial awareness, the most important two things you can learn in racing. It could be sim, or it could be, real life for sure. But yeah, I mean, I felt bad for that for turn one, which, Rob got caught up in that incident, and that's where racecraft and spatial awareness comes in, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it would have been probably closer if Brennan didn't make his mistake. I thought I had a real secure and good. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to choke already. Go ahead, Matt. Ask me a question.
Okay, I'm going to race. So we talked about racecraft and spatial awareness. Did that Golf Audi find its way through there, or was that Golf Audi ahead of what went down when it went down? And that was, if you did make it through there was a whole lot of smoke, man. But cars were going everywhere. Kevin Irwin ended up on his lid. You and Brennan got through there, and man, you had to do it again when Brennan decided to text and drive and take out almost all the cones. I'm pretty sure the track crew is pretty upset with him at the moment, but you got by him there, and you just kind of took off. So, I mean, kind of when you're talking about your racecraft and spatial awareness, man, how do you do that and still be quick?
Yeah, my times were pretty much the same all through the race. Just consistency. That's what that was.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brennan got some corner workers upset, but he managed.
It is what it is, Gerry. I wanted to let you know here, Big H was shouting you out the whole race, one of the Risa guys. So I know he's happy. All three of his Risa guys finished on the podium tonight. But Gerry, I just wanted to say thank you before I asked you to say thank you to anybody for everything that you've done for XSLR and here with XTC and racing with all the young guys. I hope you're going to be tough getting out of your wheelchair after that long race. But yeah, thanks, man, for everything you've done. But anybody you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, you guys, Adam, Rob. That was I like the way we're doing this. This is pretty cool. XSLR, we're extending. We've got XTC now. With this is definitely fun. I hope we can just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks, all you guys.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Gerry, and we hope to see you again here soon.
Thank you.
That was Gerry Di Piero there in second place, and Alex, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take the texter and driver here. Brennan Houran comes home third in the TCRs.
Well, Brennan, obviously a great job. He got P3, even with the little bit of an incident, I would say, into turn 1, or the hairpin, my bad. But just walk me through it. P3 overall. You're on the podium for the TCRs. How was it out there tonight?
Yeah, started P3, finished P3, so I didn't lose any spots, luckily. But I got really lucky on turn 1 because whoever was on my left side, right on my door, is I think the one who ended up upside down coming out of it. So I got really lucky with what lane I was in going through turn 1, and of course after that I got to sit and watch Eduardo drive away from me, and then of course the incident happened, and then I got to watch Gerry drive away from me. So all in all, it was a fun race. I'm not too upset about my incident that I had because Gerry was I think he was a little more consistent than me, so I think he would have passed me at some point anyways, but yeah, I'm happy with P3.
Brennan, everybody saw it. I just want you to know that we were literally watching the battle when you did that. So congratulations on becoming famous, and congratulations on upsetting the Sebring track crew in extreme.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a pretty big landscaping bill from them in a few days here.
Anyway, sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
So, Brennan, I don't mean to embarrass you, but man, how did you end up texting and driving and wrecking the car?
Well, so that there was some things being said over the radio, and I kind of wanted to egg it on and react live time, like in real time. And I forget what I was something like "Let's go" or something like that, and trying to egg on some people who were talking in the chat, and got what I deserved, I guess, and looked up for my keyboard, and cones were flying over the hood, and grass was coming all over the hood and everything, and the wall at the end of the straight was rapidly approaching me, so I kind of had to slide it in and try to use some style to save my life there.
All right, Adam, you got anything for him?
Yeah, actually I don't. I think, Brennan, you covered it all, man. Congratulations on your 3rd place. Anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, Slicks Racing, GB Consulting, XTC, all the XTC admins, you guys for the great broadcast, and my family for supporting me. I think that's it.
All right, awesome, Brendan. Thank you very much, man, and we hope to see you again here soon up here.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you.
All right, that was Brennan Houran in 3rd place. So, Alex, man, heck of a race. Try to debrief it here, but there was so much that went on. What were your thoughts? Kind of give us a quick rundown.
I had a ton of fun up here. We witnessed a fantastic race today. We had amazing battles all throughout the field, whether it was between Paul Mikulajczyk and Bobby Ross for the lead, or maybe Jaden Darling and Tyler Coates back in the pack for 4th. We had some fantastic battles, and obviously incredible incidents that I honestly personally didn't expect, especially with Kevin Irwin flipping over the guardrail in turn 1. And I don't want to embarrass him anymore, but Brennan Houran with the texting and driving accident going into the hairpin. But all in all, just a great showing from these guys today. They put on a heck of a show, and I'm just happy I was up here in order to watch it all from the best seat in the house.
Yeah, that really was a great show. Great job by those XTC guys, and really, I can't say much more to it, but I just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody in chat. Got a little hairy there at the end, but all in all, big shout out to all the guys that were talking about us throughout the whole race, or probably talking about us, talking to us, egging on their drivers. So thanks, guys, and we hope to see you back here in a couple weeks' time. But until then, from Slow Motion Broadcasting and Sebring International Raceway, this was round 2 of season 1 of Cross Touring Cup. We hope to see you guys again soon. Have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you guys are located around the world. Bye-bye.